What if agriculture is no longer what used to be when the CAP was developed? If we agree that agriculture in Europe is no longer what it used to be in the 50s and the 60s, then it is time to refresh the master narratives used to describe its role in society. This can be done by exposing the presence of three elephants in the room. So these are the three presentations of this series. Now we can move to the second elephant in the room, and then the fact that today agriculture is heavily and dangerous depending on externalization. So externalization and import are not good for farmers, they are not good for food security. So it is no longer production consumption, it's import, production, consumption, and export. And this is complicated quite a lot, the situation. Why we are having this problem? Because and why this problem is relevant. First of all, we are expected in the future to have a higher demand in food, and then it is not clear whether we will be able to double the global crop production in 2050 because of water, because the amount of marginal return on putting fertilizer and getting crops is decreasing. And also because more and more we are aware of the fact that we have to preserve the biodiversity, so there is a trade-off between increasing the food production and preserving the biodiversity. So what has been the solutions for agribusiness, and how agribusiness has affect the rural development? We can have the most fantastic example of agribusiness, the Netherlands. And then, of course, we can see here that the Netherlands is the second top agricultural exporter, and then is exporting much more than Canada. And then, even though he has much less hectares of land, as a matter of fact, the Netherlands export more than Canada and Argentina when looking at the amount of added value. Okay, so we can see the effect of agribusiness, of all this added value on rural communities. We can see here the export value in the Netherlands between 2000 and 2010, the value tripled. But then if you are looking at the effect on the labor force, the value tripled and the labor force it was reduced 1/3 over the period. And then if you're looking later on, the employment in agriculture keeps falling down. So basically the effect of agribusiness on the reproduction of rural community is not particularly good. We can conclude that agriculture in Europe depends heavily on imported feed, which are essential to reduce its impact on the environment, sustain agribusiness, and externalize the request of low-paid labor. But how dangerous is the solution? What if a surge of the global food demand will make the need of producing on our own, because we can no longer have cheap commodities to import? What would be the environmental impact? And should we start discussing about this rather than keep having this economic idea that no matter what, you can always import what is needed? So let's have a picture of what we are importing, what we are producing. And you are looking for vegetable, more or less, there is some sort of internal production. Animal is already much more the imported part than the domestic, but this is due internally within Europe to the fact that there are countries that are more producing animal than other. But a real issue here with the feed. All EU countries, but Ireland, import more than 70% of their feed. And their feed in general comes from outside Europe. If you're looking at what are the implications for land, this is the amount of land available for different countries, and this is the amount of land which is embodied in what is imported. And the same apply, we don't have time, but I mean, of course, this is the embodied land. You have also embodied water, embodied fertilizer, pesticide, habitat destruction that has been externalized to other countries. Another important aspect not related to resources but to internal resources is the externalization of labor. Also in this case, you can see that basically if you are comparing the availability of labor and the amount of labor that is embodied in the import, there are countries they are importing like 5 times or 6 times more labor equivalent than what they are allocating in agriculture. Like for instance, in the Netherlands, this would be like almost 1 million workers.